Hello everybody, welcome to yet another edition of Hops at Home, a virtual happy hour to connect you to the craft beer scene in this lockdown period. I'm Phil Clark, landlord of the Brit and Yankee and of the Brit and Yankee Craft Beer Podcast. You may be wondering why I'm filming in portrait mode, nice and long and tall and thin. Well, you'll find out because it's the only way we could fit our guest on the show today. But before that, my virtual happy hour drinking buddies are Mr. Jay Rosicki and Mr. Ken McMullen. And there they are looking absolutely wonderful. And we're back inside. Well, Ken's still outside today, but we're back inside because it's a little windy out there. But let's go to Ken first. Ken, you just come back from a ride, right?
Yeah, I just did a little quick spin around the neighborhood, around a couple neighborhoods. But yeah, it was windy out there.
And you've got a beer in your hand. What are you drinking?
You know what? I got into a pack of beers that I have in my cellar that I've had for a long time, and I found this one with a red label. I just took it in the garage, but I didn't know what it was, and it said it was from Belgium. So I thought, what the hell? I'll break out a Belgian beer here, and showed it to you, and you told me it's from Aldi.
Yeah, show us the bottle.
I took it in the garage, but I'm like, well, I got to get something different than an Aldi beer. So
I think it's called Boot Tread. And yes, we reviewed that. I think it was last year sometime to see if Aldi beers are any good. And
I'm not really loving it.
But you'll have another one before long. This is just your getting back on your ride beer, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
It's my recovery beer, let's call it that.
So, Jay, what have you got going on there?
I have some Play Dead from PINELLAS Ale Works. Remember I brought one to you, the 1886, the last one we drank at the Florida Beer Trial. They're out of St. Pete, Florida. It's pretty darn good. It's one of my favorite breweries down there. They always put out good stuff.
And I understand you've been out rushing around with your daughter buying a new car. Well, not necessarily a new one, but a car.
No, it was new. Like, it was a 2019, but it was never titled. It only had 5 miles on it, and she bought it, not me. I like to make that clear. The girl works her butt off. Both my daughters do. But I was a little teary-eyed leaving the dealership because now I know I have officially an adult, because while we're there, she's like, man, I got to get insurance. I'm going to have a payment now. And I'm like, yeah, being an adult sometimes sucks.
Yes, it does, especially now. Well, I'll tell you what I got, and that's from a couple of shows ago. Of course, we went up to Black and Grey, so I'm going to be drinking the Leo Belgicus, which is their Belgian IPA, in the oil can, the handwritten oil can, which is absolutely marvelous. I like a nice oil can full, you know. Oh, this is coming out beautiful. I've had this when I was up there interviewing them a long time ago, but haven't had it since. So there we go. Beautiful pint, absolutely. So without further ado, I made a bit of a joke that maybe we had to have him in portrait mode because he is one of the tallest men in the craft beer business. With us today is Mr. Chet Brett, live from his office. What you drinking, Chet?
Actually, I just finished the Pollyanna, this one.
Four Chord Wonder.
Delicious. I got a nice visit in with Paul last week. And then I just cracked this one open, and I couldn't really tell you much about it. Let's see.
Trot Hopple. What is Trot Hopple from? Or where is it from?
Oh, it's Evil Horse, actually. Much love.
Oh, very good. I thought I remembered that name. So the wonderful Steve Camp.
And you know what? That beer's delicious, and I couldn't even tell you how long I've had it, you know. And that's one of the things with me is I'm an easy grader as far as beers go. That was very good, actually.
Good man. Well, thanks for coming on the show. And I know, Jay, you had some conversations with Chet, which is why he's here, because he's got something going on, a special project. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
So, yeah, Chet and I have talked a couple of times, and besides being the tallest figure in the Chicago craft beer scene, if not the whole world, Chet has a heart of gold, and he's starting a project that I personally think, you know, it's getting my support 100%. And Chet, just want to give us a little brief description of what you got going?
I'm trying to figure out for the last half of my life, or whatever I have left, what I can do to kind of take some of the things that I've combined through my life, from from my high school and college days through my career in the beer industry as recently as right now. So I want to try to go around the country and brew beers and raise money for local charities. Originally, we're going to kick it off. We actually did something very similar to this. The blueprint's already been done. This past fall, I did one. We did a fundraiser, Two Hound Red, with our buddy Farmer Kenny. I think Ken was there for the christening of the beer early on, and it was just a great experience. We raised some money for our community from my old high school. But going forward, it's going to be going to a different brewery every month, brewing a beer, raising $1 or so per pint towards the local charity. And obviously, in light of everything that's going on now, with all the challenges local communities are having, are going to probably be more community outreach based, whereas down the road, it might not necessarily be running food to the, getting money to the food pantry or the community, outreach groups.
And so doing this, are you going to be brewing, or are you just going to be kind of?
Well, the great thing about all this is there's so many people so much better at so many different things in this industry than I am. And I've gotten to know a lot of them. And I want to kind of focus on that a little bit, but not being about like, the next one we're going to do when we get the first opportunities with John Brand and Will Turner over at Open Outcry. And, it could be argued Will's one of the best brewers in the country. So, but I want to focus more on the sense of community you get from the beer, from the charity or the organization, and try to rebuild these communities back up pint by pint, and it might turn out that what I had envisioned today isn't going to be what I'm able to execute in September, but some version of that will move in a direction. And it's all that stuff again. You know what? If I can put all that into one journey, I think I'll have some fun, and we'll hopefully be able to do some good for some of the local communities around the country. And obviously, being able to start in our backyard in Chicagoland, it's just a matter of hoping there's enough months in a year.
I was going to say,
do you think with having Will Turner, he does have a tendency to appear on Facebook less clothing than some others?
Listen, if we have to blacken out the butt cheeks to get a little PG-13 acceptable level, we'll do that. But you know what? It just goes to, and anybody who follows some of our friends on Facebook and social media, we're a pretty open group in all the zaniness, good and bad. And some of it, we were talking recently with our friends from Suicide Prevention Group.
I got my bracelet on right now.
What's that?
It's okay not to be okay.
Yeah, that whole thing. And those group of people, they're still needing, help. Those people need attention. There's need more of it. So we gotta, as much as we got our own challenges, the sense is that if I can help somebody else on a little bit of what they need help on, maybe that'll release some of the pressure so they're not as, burdened by the challenges.
I think most people that are watching these are in the Chicago area, so they probably all know you, Chet. But I would say you're a unique person and uniquely qualified to do something like this. I mean, you know everybody. You cruise around and talk to everybody. Everybody's friends with you. So I could see this really being successful for you.
I appreciate you saying that. And the thing is, when you say in life, and what I've been fortunate to be able to do here in the Chicago beer community in the last nearly 8 years, I was fortunate to go lobby in Congress, and I went to Washington, D.C., working with the Brewers Association, and really felt on the front lines, communicating something that I was passionate about for all the 250 breweries of the state of Illinois and the other breweries around the country. But now I can take all those kind of the drive from that and the sense of community we got from the beer world. I hopefully Phil might be able to put some links on some of the stuff I've been exposed to. There's a great Netflix show called The Kindness Diaries. That's one of my inspirations. The project I've got going is brewingkindness.org. And it's about just trying to find how you can be a little bit kinder. It gives somebody a little bit of an advantage, a little bit of help, and hopefully the returns are tenfold. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Chet, exactly what the name of your website or organization was
So
going to
you'll
be.
probably
You
put
said
it over here, the Brewing Kindness.
I will stick it up at the end, if you'll pardon the expression. Hey, I wanted to ask you, for people who haven't come across you, the general punter, as we call them in England, who drinks craft beer, you come from the East Coast and you've got quite a communications background, haven't you? You're drinking out of a real small glass. What the hell are you doing?
I don't know.
Oh,
if
that's
you
a
have
regular
really
glass.
big
His hands are
Holmes.
just so big.
No, you know what? It's funny. As we obviously a lot of people we were going to see this initially are friends of John Bitterman along the way, but maybe the rest of the country when they see this. He is a friend of ours. He collects like you. Will people collect? I don't have beer stuff. I have a handful of things, but this is a beer glass I got at the Great American Beer Fest when I went out there with Church Street in 2013 with Lisa and the team out there. And it was like, you know what? It was one of those ones that I really appreciated going out there for the first time. And I thought today would be kind of a good way to say cheers to that experience. I've got some stories of these other careers that have kind of led to this point. And you know what? Quite honestly, if anybody who's seeing this is any way interested, knows me or knows somebody or has a different idea about something, to reach out to me. I'm very accessible on social media. There's a Brewing Kindness. I got a Brewing Kindness at Gmail because I don't have all the answers. If anybody knows me, I'm quick to say the things I'm not good at, but the things I'm good at, a lot of people don't want to do. And you know, I'm ready to do my part. If other people want to say, hey, you know what, I think I might be able to help you in this area, that area. And so it might just be a little bit of feedback, or quite honestly, it might be financial, you know, because part of it's going to be trying to get money into these communities in a painless way. How some of the particulars we did when we did the event here in Glen Ellen at Two Hound Red, I went to the local community. You go into the local business and say, hey, do you have a gift or gift certificate you'd like to give towards this thing we're doing on Friday night? And of course, every business who wants to be invested in the community say, here's a $20 gift certificate for a coffee and a donut or whatever. And that builds more of a sense of community. When you say, oh, it's for the Beverly Food Pantry or the Portland Soup Kitchen, you know, it's getting people in the community to say, hey, you know what, because whatever we're going to raise $2,000 to $5,000 on a humble kind of one night event with the carryover selling pints while the beer lasts. But there's no end to how bringing attention to these groups and organizations will flourish long beyond. Because we know, you know, especially with food banks, everybody, once they put the word out that food banks need food, people are on it. Obviously now at much different times, but I think it's one of those things. We know we have those food pantries in our communities, and we know when they need us, they'll ask. Well, now they really need us.
I know I did. Oh, hello. What's he got? He's emptied that one.
Yeah, it's the one. I was just giving props to Steve and Amy out at Evil Horse.
I did go out to your website whilst you were chatting there and had a quick look.
Yeah,
you got your picture next to some guy called the Big Hurt. Who is that?
You know, baseball's playing on both sides of Chicago, baby. He's a South Sider, two-time MVP.
What's his name?
The Big Hurt, Frank Thomas.
Oh, there we go. I've seen
fan.
him in Viagra adverts. Oh no, what is it? Testosterone adverts, right?
Yeah, well, you know what the great thing about that is when you take these little snippets. We've all shared so many awesome events over the last, for me, 8 years, but that event that was at the Tinley Park Brew and Vine, and that's a party. Those people down there in Tinley Park like to party. And he was down there pushing his product, and you know, he had an operation going for a while with a place that was called Frank Thomas's Brew House, where he didn't brew, but he had his beer sold and packaged.
That was in Berwyn, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was. It's a big space. It was. I think it was.
Right.
It looks like an old bank or something. You know?
Right. No, we had a business in Cicero. I drove by that building every day for about 10 years of my life, if not longer.
And as a Cub fan, did you used to go, too bad it's not a Cub bar, I can go in and have a beer?
No, I'm a Cubs fan, yes, so I put the hat on real fast. But I'm not a Sox hater. I want all Chicago teams to do well. I just hope the Cubs do better.
Hey, Ken, I just want to jump in it. You've changed your beer, haven't you? What you got now, buddy?
I opened this. I actually don't know what it is. I know where it's from, though. It's from Rolling Meadows Brewery near Springfield.
Isn't the brewer down there Dion?
Dion Corley, yeah.
What do you think you got? So, hey, it's the neighbor. Bring the neighbor
Yeah.
over. What do you think you got?
It's some type of an amber ale.
Nice.
It's delicious. The malty, it's crisp.
Chet, you need to get downstate and do some of the work with them because those guys are really cool down there.
I got to see a lot of places, on their build outs and on the, getting back to Tinley Park, specifically 350. Todd and Eric came up and they were like, we're going to build a brewery in Tinley Park. We're so super stoked. A year later, they had it together, and a year later, they had the beer or something like that. So it's like, you get to share in a lot of the growth of these places, but you just can't get to them all. So that's what I'm saying. Hopefully, I'll find some spots along the state. I know I'd love to do something with Matt Potts down at the Still, and Tangle Root Scott. And,
Yeah, I heard that
those
Eric
folks.
from 350. He went to another brewery. Like, he's definitely a great brewer. I can't remember where he went.
Bottom.
He was rock bottom, but he went somewhere else. The name is my tongue.
Milky?
Listen, I'll take his milk money and your milk money, my friend.
All right. So what we usually do at this point in the show is we ask our guests to show us your beer fridge, please. He's got his mask on.
Well, I'm not like I say, I don't collect a lot of beers. I don't get too excited. But the great thing about it is I have a lot of friends that when I get to visit them, they get to share their beers with me. So we got a mixed bag. We got other side. We got a Hellas from Church Street, AJ Stout. We got a Press. We got a Cocktails from the Two Brothers Clan, some Pipeworks, some Hailstorm, some Big Hailstorm, some Tribes.
Hey, what's that white thing with stout on the front of it?
That's the AJ Stout. I'm not really. That's another one. I don't even know where I got it, how I got it.
Pull it out. Let's have a look.
That's what she said.
That looks like Triptych. Is that right?
You know what? Without my cheaters on, I can't see. So I'll be pulling it to.
We love it. Okay. All right. Well, hey, at least we've seen you got a bunch of good stuff in your fridge. And
Come on over. I need help drinking. It's the quicker those are out, I can get a whole new one. Yeah, it is from Triptych. Good eyes. Good call.
All right. I thought they only did hazes. I'm wrong. Yeah.
Oh, real quick before we end.
Oh, yeah.
Chet,
Yes,
quick
sir.
question. A lot of people don't know this. You told me a while back, but I hear that your real name's not Chet.
Well, what's real anymore? But yes, my real name is Jude Christopher Brett, and I'm one of a big, proud Irish Catholic family from Long Island. And Jude and Christopher were some pretty important saints along the way. When I moved out here in '72 in grammar school, I was on a basketball team, and another guy moved out here also named. I was always called Chris. Jude was just one of those names that Catholics broke back out in the old days just to make sure they had a good saint-sounding name. But Chris was my name, and then it became two guys named Chris show up in town, and I was on a basketball team, and I had an okay game one day, and then the coach said Chet, like Chet Walker, and then boom, I've been Chet since. So.
Well, we know from first experience the problems with having two Chris's.
Yeah.
Go back to episode 17 or 18. Anyway, Chet, I wish you all the very best. You've always been very generous to the podcast.
And again, you'll have the reading list hopefully put at the end, but check out Kindness Diaries on Netflix. And if you want to reach out and say, hey, you know what, Chet, I had an idea, I would love to hear, because again, I need a lot of help on some of this stuff. So.
We know you need a lot of help, Chet.
That's what I'm saying.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
All the best to everybody. Miss
Cheers from
everybody.
me.
Let's get together, big hug.
Cheers from my PBR chalice.
Cheers, Chet. Cheers. All the best. Hey, we're up. Yeah, there we go. Cheers. There we go.